Well, it's time to talk Multiverse with Spider-Man 3. You know what's funny? Multiverse is such an interesting thing. I've only really seen a true multiverse in Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. So it'll be interesting to see how it's done here. And I think the pieces are leading to a multiverse from months ago, back in October, where the floodgates of a Spider-Man multiverse started to come in with the idea that Jamie Foxx has come back as Electro, which is crazy to me because I contend that Jamie Foxx coming back to Electro is more crazy of an idea than bringing back the two, than having all renditions of Spider-Man together in live action. Because at least with that, people have been speculating that we'll see, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland all in the same film together for years. But bringing back a character in Electro that not a lot of people liked that character in Spider-Man 2. In my opinion, I think Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was probably the biggest weakness of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So the fact that they're bringing him back just crazed me back in October. I found no real reason to make a video on that, because there's nothing more I could say than, yeah, that was shocking, that was crazy, and that definitely confirms at some level a multiverse. But it was yesterday, probably at like 2 o'clock my time, in Eastern Standard Time, that word came out that Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 was going to be in this film. That the floodgates really opened up. Because if you bring back Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi film, then that officially connects the 3 generations of live-action Spider-Man. Tom Holland for this version, Jamie Foxx for the Andrew Garfield version, and Alfred Molina for the Sam Raimi version. So whether the all Spider-Mans are in the same film or not is redundant. It still connects all 3 in some shape or form. So now, whereas it used to be a dream or a fantasy to see all 3 live-action Spider-Man together on screen, where it used to be a fantasy, not only is it now a possibility, it is a likelihood. Seeing all 3 Spider-Man on screen at the same time, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, all in live-action form, together, in a film, is not only a possibility now, it is a likelihood, where just a couple years ago, it was a fantasy. And so, it's crazy. This is crazy. And I think Multiverse is clear where the MCU is heading. From WandaVision, with, Scarlet Witch, and then Scarlet Witch is going to be on Doctor Strange. What's Doctor Strange 2 called? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So if that doesn't spell multiverse bigger, then what? How does it not? And not only is Spider-Man going to most likely bring and connect all 3 versions of the Spider-Man universe and the mythos, Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3. It's a shame that we're never going to get a true Tom Holland Spider-Man film. Because you look at Homecoming, it's still his beginning years. Iron Man, Tony Stark's still a big centerpiece of the film. And then you get into Far From Home, and, well, what do you know? It's still, Tony Stark's mark is still very much in it, and everything that happens doesn't revolve around Peter, it revolves around, Edith, which ultimately is a spawn-off from Tony, again, and Nick Fury. So I want a neighborhood Spider-Man film. And it doesn't look like we're going to get it again with Spider-Man 3, but it's interesting. Many people think that bringing in all 3 Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, bringing them all in the same film would top Endgame. No, it wouldn't top Endgame. And I'll tell you why. Because many people think, again, like, let me re-emphasize, a lot of people think that bringing in the multiverse with all these different Spider-Man at the same time in the same film, in Spider-Man 3, in the MCU, would top Endgame, having them all fight and battle and stuff against these different villains. That probably wouldn't top Endgame, and I'll tell you why. For hardcore Marvel fans, for hardcore MCU fans, for Spider-Man films, for cinephiles, sure, this idea blows our minds. But the masses don't care. That's just the truth. Everybody's minds get blown when you see, I am inevitable, I am Iron Man, and you see the portal sequence. Everybody's minds go, but what? Just seeing 3 different Spider-Man on screen, yeah, that'll blow cinephiles' minds and Marvel fans' minds, but for the mass public, and especially for the kids, or not kids, I mean, I'm a kid, but like 10-year-olds, 5-year-olds, people who also loved Endgame. Yeah, they're gonna be like, who dis? You know, when they see, Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, because that's not their Spider-Man. They're just, another Spider-Man from a different universe. They don't know who they are, so I think it's a case of, for maybe the hardcore fans, it'll top Endgame, but the idea of Endgame is not just that hardcore fans' mind were blown. It's just the audience. Because seeing Endgame in theaters, I've seen Endgame multiple times in theaters. Every time the audience's minds exploded. Because it wasn't just about, the big hardcore Marvel fans get to love this film. Everybody had something they can enjoy. And everybody, whether you're a Marvel fan casually or a deep Marvel fan, So I think here, seeing multiple different Spider-Man is not going to top any because people don't care. Sure, I might care. Other Marvel fans might care. But if I show this to someone who's watched every MCU film but doesn't really care, then they'll watch Spider-Man 3 with all these different Spider-Man and be like, okay, cool, but what's so interesting about that, But for us as movie fans and as Marvel fans, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Never thought that would happen. So, I don't know. And then also there's rumors that the Daredevil rendition of Daredevil would be in this film. That the Netflix rendition of Daredevil with Charlie Cox would be in this film. I don't know, because it's like, there's been reports about, again, the different Spider-Man being in this film. I definitely think they are. I'd probably, if you give me $5 and put it on, will all 3 Spider-Man be in the film or not? I'd put $5 on. They're all in this film. Now, Daredevil's a different story. Some people are running with, Daredevil's in the film. I don't know. Maybe not. I'd say it seems like a lot of people are talking about it, so I'd say he probably is. I mean, I haven't seen any of the major trades, like the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, post anything about that, but I've seen some YouTube videos talking about it, so maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'm definitely taking all those reports with a grain of salt, because it's not like Sony came out and confirmed any of this, but it looks like they're leaning forward, and honestly, Spider-Man in theory, would need a lawyer, and I think everybody's thinking that he would need a lawyer because his identity was revealed. No. I don't think Peter Parker would care enough to create a lawyer. Peter Parker does not need a lawyer because his identity was revealed. He needs a lawyer because, remember, Mysterio at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home not only exposed who Spider-Man was, but said that Spider-Man killed him. Mysterio said that Spider-Man killed Mysterio. So basically, point is, the big why does Spider-Man need a lawyer is because he is now being accused of murder, and not only murder, but murder of what the masses think is a superhero. Because everybody thinks Mysterio's this crazy superhero, which is really evil. but everybody thinks he's the good guy. So if you hear Spider-Man killed a superhero, yeah, that's why he needs a lawyer, not because his identity is revealed. Because I've seen YouTube videos saying Spider-Man needs a lawyer because his identity was revealed. No, I don't think Peter Parker would go out of his way to do that. I think he would go out of his way to expose the truth that he didn't kill Mysterio. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just kind of my thought on that. So we'll see where things go. Stay tuned for more videos coming right at you.